Charlie Munger. How to Get Rich in 10 Simple Steps. Charlie Munger is best known as Warren Buffett's deputy at Berkshire Hathaway. He is also a world-class billionaire investor, capable of achieving the same results in the market as Buffett himself. As a successful investor and a good guy in every way, Munger often shares his investment wisdom with those who like to listen. If you pay attention to what he says and follow his best advice, it will help you feel comfortable financially, and maybe even get rich. In this video, I will show you some of his most appropriate wise words for those who want to invest. Our channel helps people to learn personal finance and investments. If you are interested in improving your financial future and want to become rich a few years earlier, be sure to subscribe to the channel. But what makes both Buffett and Munger so attractive to ordinary investors is their ability to present complex investment topics in simple sentences. Buffett's words of wisdom are repeated endlessly, but Munger doesn't get enough face-to-face time. One of his most underrated contributions is a very simple list of 10 items called the Checklist of Investment Principles, set out in his book, Poor Charlie's Almanac. Without further ado. 1. Measure risk. Any investment assessment should begin with measuring risk, especially reputational risk. Around 2003 to 2007, investors loved banks because they were big and brought in a lot of money. Few asked how much risk they were taking. Right now, investors love companies like Amazon.com and the quality of the system because the shares went gangsters. Those who properly analyze how much risk the rates have added will end up being the happiest. 2. Be independent. Don't do something just because others are doing it. As a child, I asked my mother why I couldn't do what other children were doing. She said, "If other kids jumped off the Empire State Building, would you follow them?" This gave me an impetus to independent thinking throughout my life. Sometimes it led to better results. Perhaps the hardest part of investing is that the greatest chances of being right arise when most people think you are wrong, and vice versa. If you plan on watching CNBC and investing in what most talking heads like, you're likely to get average results at best. Some of the biggest winners of 2009 were companies like Ford and American Express, both of which caused nothing but giggles and blank stares earlier this year. 3. Prepare ahead. The only way to win is to work, and hope to have a few insights. The past decade was defined by delusions of success. Buy a house and you'll be rich. Have a credit card and you'll be rich. Buy penny stocks and you'll be rich. Live in America and you'll be rich. None of it was true. But this fact is as true today as it's been for eons. The best way to become financially successful is to work hard, save harder, learn a lot, and invest patiently and prudently. 4. Have intellectual humility. Acknowledging what you don't know is the dawning of wisdom. Munger's related quote, "The iron rule of life is that only 20% of people can be in the top 5. Sad but true. You're not Warren Buffett. You don't know what will happen next year. Most people probably can't fully understand what Google is doing, even though its business may seem simple at first glance. It's not a big deal. Admit what you don't know." Charlie Munger said, "For many years I thought that if I didn't know all the answers, I would fail. It was probably a well-founded fear of how I took the tests at school. When I became a professor, I initially thought that knowing all the answers was even more important. In recent years, I've found it incredibly liberating to be asked a question to think about whether I know the answer, and if not, to admit that I don't. From there, I could suggest the name of someone who might know, or even better, describe the process I would follow to get an answer. And it is not just normal, but vital to recognize this and either convey what you do not understand or learn from someone who understands. The alternative is roulette-style investing. 5. Analyze rigorously. Use effective checklists to minimize mistakes and omissions. There is a truth in the saying that people spend a month studying a new dishwasher, but 10 minutes studying a new assortment. Take your time, be patient, be selective. Read the annual reports. Twist the numbers. Find out the opinion of other people. We're talking about your hard-earned money. To analyze correctly, you need to keep learning all your life. Munger says that most people stop studying at the age of 18. One of the reasons I like teaching is that you have to keep learning to have something to say to college students. What could have worked 10 years ago can quickly become obsolete. 6. Make the most of what you can control. People shouldn't worry about things that are out of their control. As Munger said, you can control your character, your work ethic, and your willingness to learn. If you fulfill your obligations, work hard and keep learning, you can set a goal for yourself and achieve it. 7. Have patience. Resist the natural human bias to act. Last fall, I interviewed the famous value investor Monish Pabrai. I asked Pabrai what his advantage as an investor was. Control over your emotions, was his laconic response. I asked, and that's it? It's huge. You will be surprised, he replied. You couldn't be more right. All this goes back to one of Buffett's most famous statements. The market exists to serve you, not to teach you. 8. The concept of inversion. One well-known tactic that Munger uses to solve problems both in life and in investing is the concept of inversion. Turn it over, always turn it over. Turn the situation or problem upside down. Look at it from the side, he said. For example, if you want to fail in life, what would you do? Most likely, you would not read, would not listen to others, and would be short-sighted. Thus, the solution for a successful life will be to read a lot, listen carefully to high-class people, and think long-term. When investing, we can also use inversion tactics. If you wanted to become a bad investor, what would you do? Chances are you wouldn't have researched stocks. You would have followed the crowd into bubbles and sold at the bottom of the stock market crash. Therefore, without doing these things, we can become excellent investors. Munger gives an example of helping India's economy. By identifying what is causing the most damage, you will be able to determine how to solve the problem. 9. Be ready for change. Live with change and accept unremovable complexity. If the last 2 years have taught us anything, it's that what you think can't happen not only can, but probably will happen. In both personal finance and investing, there is nothing more dangerous than relying 100% on a certain set of circumstances. Life just doesn't work that way. I believe in the scientific method. Identify an obstacle to success, develop a hypothesis about what can overcome this obstacle, conduct a modest experiment to test the hypothesis, and analyze the results. If the experiment confirms your hypothesis, repeat the successful action. Otherwise, learn from the failure and try again. 10. Stay focused. Keep it simple and remember what you intended to do. As Dale Carnegie said, success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you get. It's no better than that. Magner was talking. Many things can distract you from achieving your goals. These days, I am glad to announce that I got rid of one of them, Twitter. Many years ago, I learned about the critical importance of setting and meeting deadlines. I have written 16 books, and I have delivered each manuscript to the publisher by the deadline. To do this, I am writing a book proposal in which I outline the vision of the book and how I will write it. It binds me to a discipline that leads me to my goal. Onward. Munger teaches us that investing is simple, but hardly easy. He is also an example of how much can be learned from a great teacher. Now is a great time for personal reflection. Think about your goal or create a new one inspired by Charlie Magner's advice. Kindly let us know your opinion in the comments section below. Feel free to like this video and subscribe to our channel to see more of these videos. If you like this video, watch the following video.